So can a rational person believe in Jesus? I hope so, because I consider myself a rational person and I believe in Jesus. I think the historical evidence for Jesus as a person is pretty compelling. I don't think there's a lot of controversy about that, although some people even argue about that. But I think for me, one of the really striking aspects of the story of Jesus has to do with his followers. And if you look at the biblical accounts, the different gospels, and certainly what happens in the book of Acts, there seems to have been this incredible transformation that these guys who were hanging out with Jesus were clearly all excited about what Jesus was teaching, and some of them must have thought that it was going to be a political coup or something was going to happen. But then when he was arrested and basically tortured and ultimately killed, all these guys left. And it's pretty clear that whatever they thought Jesus was doing or whatever they thought he was, that they now had serious doubts about that, because it seemed like the game plan that they envisioned wasn't coming to play. I mean, it wasn't happening. Within a matter of really a couple days, where the account in Scripture is that Jesus came back from the dead, appeared to his disciples, to his followers, and then left the earth, something must have happened to convince these guys of the reality of not only what Jesus had said, but actually what he had accomplished, which was this coming through death and ultimately coming back to life, to the point where these guys went on to individually die for that faith. I think it's very hard to explain that other than there being something fundamentally profound, something so different about the experience of what they experienced in terms of their interaction with Jesus that convinced them of the reality of what he said about what he was doing and who he was. So I find that a pretty compelling line of evidence that something had happened that was way beyond the ordinary. I think you can accept that idea as a historical evidence for a particular event. But for me, it only takes on reality when we individually accept or turn to examining that claim for ourselves. And it was really only at that point in my life where I started examining that claim about who Jesus said he was and what it might mean, that I then started realizing that actually has relevance to me today.